I'm with shits. I'm with shits. I'm with shits. I'm with shits. I view my adversary through a microscope as a small thing. They wax fat, we ballin'. Babylon keep falling. By all means, these salt teams is cracker dust. Esau won't respawn, they the soul people we have to crush. They shackled us, we out the cuffs. It's your turn to slow burn till after dusk. My Caucasian plantation, those reparations won't amount to much. That blonde hair with them blue eyes and that pig flesh won't hassle us. Shawty hauling that hee-haw, cause that gluteus on Maximus. My whip drip on 100 thighs. We gunning down you runaways. They from the cave, not underpaid. I'm Munga slave, just for fun play Hunger Games. Put you in the front like you running things. Uriah, any back talk, you kiss the asphalt, now sing it to the Messiah. You'll be auctioned off with the shipping costs. I'll purchase some good diver. Bought my Donald Trump and my Richard Nixon. I'm Willie Lynch incarnate. Keep a short leash on you varmint. String you up if you brave-hearted. Only thing red, white, and blue will be your remains washed off of my garment. I'm with shits like Willie Lynch, I wanna see him hang. I'm with shits like Willie Lynch, I wanna see him hang. I'm with shits like Willie Lynch, I wanna see him hang. I'm with shits like Willie Lynch, I wanna see him hang, ayy.
Went from riding on the boat to hanging on oak. God hate these white folks, you can say what you want. This ain't a joke, I ain't laugh at shit. They gon' make it to the kingdom, yeah, with shackle wrists. Yeah. Put they ass in chains with a yoke of iron. Whip hit his back, sound like I opened fire. I ain't gon' lie, I wanna see him suffer. Can't escape, cause under the sun, the place of judgment. Yeah, I got a perpetual hatred. They scared of replacement theory cause they destined for slavery. Yeah. You gotta hear this, the patience of the saints. Hell yeah. Many prophets desired to see that day. UPK, we gon' take the kingdom. He don't deal with other nations, he gon' plead with heathens. I ain't gon' stop until I see him in the cotton field. Yeah. Ain't no other option, I'ma die real.
I'm with shits like Willie Lynch, I wanna see him hang. I'm with shits like Willie Lynch, I wanna see him hang. I'm with shits like Willie Lynch, I wanna see him hang. I'm with shits like Willie Lynch, I wanna see him hang. I'm with shits like Willie Lynch, I wanna see him hang. I'm with shits like Willie Lynch, I wanna see him hang. I'm with shits like Willie Lynch, I wanna see him hang. I'm with shits like Willie Lynch, I wanna see him hang.
Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom, shalom. Yah Bashim Yahweh Barakatah. Yahweh Shema Alatham Bashim Yahweh Shah. See who we got in here tonight. See who we got in here. All right, let's see. Out of one, obviously not the Zab in there. Yah Bashim Yahweh Barakatah on the book. Give everybody a couple minutes so they can get on up in here. This is tonight's Lashawan Qadash, the Holy Tongue class. All right. We got a couple people logging in. Give it a couple of minutes, then we're going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully everybody's doing Tawab tonight. Everybody's Tawab. Babylon is falling, which is a great, great thing. We had a blessed time to be here to be able to witness it. It's going to get rough out there. But we in the right spot. We in the spot where you get your gear. You get your gear, get your weight up. So when it do go down, we gonna be ready. And part of that getting ready is learning how to talk amongst one another in the holy tongue. Getting back to our language, getting back to who we are, which is very, very key and important. Very key, important part of who we are is this language. All right, so we got a couple people getting in. It's already in here. We're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm Officer 50 Yagadar. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge of Virginia. This is the Lashawan Qadash, which means the Holy Tongue class that we do every Friday night, 7 p.m. And you can actually find us. We all over the place. If you don't catch my class, you don't catch Virginia. We always teaching. We always teaching. We ain't never passing no basket around. Never passing around no basket, no bucket to take your money from you. We all about getting this truth out, getting our people back home. And for the ones that got ears, that want to hear, trying to make sure that they hear it and they know which way to go. And again, we can get the hell up out of Babylon. So the water for everybody that's in here tonight. A little quick roll call again while I shout it out. Officer Natazab in the building. We also got Sister Coco in the building. So Shalom, Yahweh Shema Alatham Bashim Yahweh Shah. We got the young man in here representing NOLA. Yahweh Brakatah. We also got Officer Matazah Karan in the building. Yahweh Brakatah. The water for everybody that's in tonight. And again, this is the Lashawan Qadash class. What I want to do, I know we haven't done it before, but with this being the Lashawan Qadash class, I want to get to the point where everybody knows where they from. We often say Blacks, Latinos, Native Indians, trying to reach out to our people, letting them know, but those are titles given to us by the oppressor. You got an actual name. You got an actual name and an actual tribe of where you come from. And it's a source of pride. You know what I'm saying? So when y'all log in, if you know your tribe, go ahead and put your tribe in there. If you know your tribe, go ahead and put your tribe in the chat if you know your tribe. I just want to see who we got. And again, we don't adhere to tribalism here because you Black, Latino, Native Indian, then you are Israelite. So when I say Black, I'm talking about the whole family. But if you know your tribe, go ahead and throw your tribe in there. Yahweh Shema Lathan Bashim Yahweh Shah, Sister Nazam in the building. She say she from Judah. And Judah, that's gonna be the Negroes. That's gonna be your so-called Negro, your so-called African American, which is the craziest title that they could ever give us. African American is two white dudes, not just one of them, but two of them. Leo Scipius Africanus and Amerigo Vespucci, which neither one of them are our forefathers, But if you from that tribe of Judah, you from the same tribe. Well, actually, I won't even say it. You who else come from Judah? Well, everybody's putting their tribe up in there. We also got Sister Coco. She says she representing Judah as well. Also, Matazah Karai, he's from the tribe of Judah as well. Yahweh Shema Lathan Bashim Yahweh Shah, the young lady Aaliyah. But I hope I said that correct. Daughter of Officer 5K, Matabai. Damn right. Out of Louisiana as well. So shalom, Makwaf. But yeah, if you know your tribe, okay. And she says she's from Judah as well. Who else y'all know that's from Judah? It's a very specific character, a very specific key person out there that come out that Bible, come out of our book, out of our history book, that he's from Judah as well. But they lied and told us that he was an Edomite. Float around, loving everybody, a hippie. Who I'm talking about. If y'all know who I'm talking about, go ahead and type that in the chat real quick if y'all know who I'm talking about. Because there's been a whole lot of identity theft going on in Babylon. A whole lot of identity theft. Damn right. Officer Matazah Karai is on it. He said Yahweh Shah. And we say Yahweh Shah, we talking about Christ. They lied to us. You go in any of our churches. Damn right. Sister Nazam and I said Yahweh Shah. You go to any of our churches, you're going to see a picture of an Edomite up on the wall. With long, stringy hair. He wearing old white dress robe. You know what I'm saying? Old white choir robe he got on. And he go around hugging and loving everybody. And that is not, I repeat, that is not our Savior. That is not the Yahweh Shah, the Christ that they describe in that Bible. Christ they describe in that Bible was an austere man, meaning stern. He was about that business. If you saw him come in the room, you're gonna look the other way because you want to make sure your shit together, because you don't want it to be no smoke, because he's not ducking none of it. And he came to save his people. So when the scripture's talking about he's coming to save his people, he's coming to save the Blacks, Latinos, Native Indian, no matter what tribe you are, as long as you're part of that 12 tribe. And there's 12 tribes. If we get a chance, we might go over it tonight. Because again, I just want us to start doing it, so just so we'll be familiar with it. A big portion of our nation is going to be your northern kingdom. Big portion of our nation is going to be that northern kingdom. And for us, we've been taught our whole lives that those weren't our brothers and our sisters, even though they was in the same ghettos and barrios as we was. They told us that they weren't our brothers and the sisters. We all going to the same bodegas, at corner stores, and seeing each other all the time. But because they spoke a different tongue than we spoke, We didn't realize that those were our brothers and sisters. So again, when I say black, I mean black, Latino, and Native Indian. And part of the reason why, if you look at the tribes, if you look at us, Judah is one of the worst affected. Not to say affected, not to say that that the oppressor hasn't ran amok on all the tribes, because he has. But when you look at Judah, as far as how deep we are ingrained with this oppressor, ingrained with the culture, with their culture that they gave us. Part of their reason is because we didn't have that language barrier like you have with some of the other northern tribes. And even though that's a slave tongue as well, our northern tribes that speak Spanish, they got that from the conquistadors. They got that from the slave masters as well. Just they slave masters spoke a different tongue than the Edomite that's over here. But with us being here, ground zero, where they want you to speak that American English, that English tongue, it just made us more and more susceptible to the tricks, to the deception of America, of this country, of this oppressor. So it's very important. This class right here is a very important class as far as us getting that language back, so we can speak amongst ourselves, talk amongst each other, not worrying about the oppressor eavesdropping, trying to change or switch up anything. And it just gets us back to our roots and gets us back to ourselves. It's a strength to have our own language. That's something that the Lord gave us. And so again, this is the Lashawan Qadash class, and this is what we make our best attempts at getting that back. I see the other young man that said, "Yeah, New Orleans is representing hard in the class," and I appreciate y'all, the water for y'all tuning in. All right, so we like to start these classes off about the same. Unfortunately, on Facebook, I don't have it. I don't know if you can see my screen. No, you actually should be able to see my screen on Facebook. On Instagram, they can't see the screen, but on Facebook, you should be able to see the screens and stuff that we share. We like to start the class off similar or the same. We're going to go to the basics. And we're going to start off with the alphabet tonight. So y'all bear with me. We're doing a little things a little bit different. So hopefully all the screens and stuff that I prepared, you'll be able to see them. If you have any questions, like always, make sure you post those in the chat. And we'll get to that and address that, especially if it's not too off topic. But that's what we are here for. We are here to teach our people, about who we are, what we do, and the whole nine. So again, if you have any questions, by all means, type that in the chat and take notes. This class right here is very specific, and it's very specific and intricate. That's a very that can be a very difficult task, learning any language, especially our tongue, which is a tongue that we haven't been afforded that ability to learn that over here. And so again, make sure you take plenty of notes. When I'm in class, I take plenty of notes. I'm always writing stuff down so I can go back and refer to it. And I try to, again, make sure I put stuff up on the screen, and I'll go a little bit slower tonight just so you have the chance to write your stuff down. You better get good notes so you can always refer back to. It's not something that you're going to learn instantly like that. It's not like the scriptures. You might hear one scripture and you'll know that scripture. You might hear about them ships, and you'll know instantly. Deuteronomy 28:68. You know what I'm saying? Egypt is bondage and so forth. So it'll stick. But this language is a little bit different. Because we haven't been speaking with this tongue. So you got to make sure you take notes. You pay attention. You rewind the track back. Go back if you miss anything, and if you got any questions, by all means, make sure you type that in. And downright, soldier. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get to it. We're going to start off with the alphabet. Now, in the original tongue, we have the ancient, then we also have the Assyrian. When you're reading that Old Testament was wrote in that ancient tongue. In our original ancient, what they call Paleo or Phoenician text or script, the Hebrew. So you will see if you're on a blue letter Bible and so forth, in that Old Testament, it's going to be in that Phoenician script. It's going to be in the old tongue. It's going to it'll be in the older Hebrew. But once you get up to the newer text, all that was wrote in the Greek. Because of the captivity that we were under. The same way how we speak English now. It's a thing called Hellenist. When the Bible talks neither Jew or neither Greek, That's because we were under Greek captivity, and they had made it illegal for us to say we was even Jews anymore. Kind of the same way, similar to how when Kanye and Kyrie said that they was Jews, and they immediately tacked their money and tried to shut them down. Well, and this time it was illegal for you to even say that you were a Jew or practice that you were a Jew. And over time, this was how we end up losing our heritage and losing our culture, and really ultimately forgetting who we are. We forgot who we were. Those imposters snuck in. They stole our identity, and they speak something called Yiddish. They speak something called Yiddish, and then you have the Hebrew that's wrote in the Syrian, and it has they had to put little dots and codas in it to compensate for A's for vowels, and we didn't have any vowels in our language. We didn't have no E's and U's and so forth in our language originally. So you will see that in there. So again, the ancient may come a little bit easier to you. It came a little bit easier to me, but that Assyrian, boy, that doggone Assyrian, them letters start to blur and look the same after a while. So again, it definitely takes practice. It takes committed. For you to be committed, and you got to be dedicated and diligent and studying. The Bible says to study to show thyself approved, though, and that's what we're doing. We rebuilding the nation. We getting back. We building that kingdom, that everlasting kingdom, and part of that is getting to this language. So with no further ado, we're gonna jump into these slides. Again, if there's anything you can't see or whatever, then we're gonna go from there. And we're gonna get it started. We're gonna start with the alphabet. All right, so let's see how good a job I did on these slides. Let's get it. All right, so our first letter, and if you can see that, okay, make sure you just type it in if you can see that. All right. All right. So that first letter, that first letter is going to be Ah. Ah is going to be that first letter. That's how you pronounce it. You will pronounce that as Ah. I got ones coming in, so it's good to go. Everybody can see it. I know these slides might be a little bit different from what y'all have seen before in our class, but we just working on switching it up a little bit, being a little bit more consistent. And if for any reason, I take all comments. So if there's anything you see that we need to switch up, change, or make better, by all means, type it in the chat. Let us know, and we'll get it. But hopefully everybody can see that okay. All right. So on your left hand side, this is going to be the ancient. This is what you're going to be the ancient. If you're searching or looking for it, this is what they call the Paleo Hebrew, or they're called a Phoenician text. This is going to be your oldest text there was. We were the first people to write down and keep records and so forth. That Bible is the most popular book in the whole wide world. You can Google books, New York's bestsellers, and no other book ever has sold or ever will sell like that Bible. So as much as nobody follows the Bible, as much as nobody follows, as much as they call us a cult and we this and we that, everybody in the world be on that doggone Bible. All right, I got a couple comments. Sister Coco says she loves that. Damn right. I appreciate it. Sister Nazamana says Salakia is easy to see and screenshot. Perfect. And that's what we want. We want to make sure that y'all can be able to screenshot it, get it for your own notes and all that good old stuff. And again, just make it easy for you to be able to refer back to it and get to it and get what you need. So that's good. I'm glad to hear that. But there's no other book that's popular in history through all history, all time, than the Bible. And you want to make sure that you get you a King James 1611 version. A lot of those other versions, if it's not that 1611 is the closest thing to the translation, to the Greek translation, and also to the Hebrew translation. A lot of them, the oppressor will try to lie. He'll try to lie and say that King James wrote the Bible. I remember hearing this when I was younger before I got in the truth. I remember hearing that King James wrote the Bible. I remember hearing that King James was of the alternative lifestyle community. I remember hearing that King James was an Edomite, or assuming that he was an Edomite, because all the kings and princes and governors and presidents and everybody that I had seen that was in any kind of positions of power was an Edomite. But that is not the truth, couldn't be further from the truth. King James is from the tribe of Judah as well. And when you look at history and you get to that, what they call the Dark Ages, anytime in history when you want to know a little thing about your oppressor, about these Edomites, anytime in history when it's something that doesn't benefit them, and it's something that actually benefits us, it has a negative connotation, a negative history, a title over that period of time. So that's why they call the Dark Ages, because during those quote unquote Dark Ages, guess who was running everything? Them dark people. And the dark people referring to us. We was in charge running those things. So that's why they refer to that as the Dark Ages. So again, King James was the king of Scotland and the king of England. At the same time, he was doing it like that. And he commissioned about 42 scholars, I want to say, that was scholars and were experts that knew that Hebrew and knew that Greek, and they took the text and they transcribed it to the king's English, or the quote unquote English, which was the tongue that everybody was speaking, or the main or premier tongue that everybody was speaking then. You see, so and nobody wanted him to do that. You got to realize, when it came to books, when it came to knowledge, period, the elite, the power structure, the ones that was always in control, it's always best for them to keep everybody else deaf, dumb, and blind. If I can keep everybody else deaf, dumb, and blind, I can do whatever I want, and I never ever have to worry about these people revolting, changing what I got going on, or messing up my money. And that's really what it all boiled down to. So books and knowledge and things of that nature was reserved for royalty. You can Google and you can do your research and start, and if you look at history, a lot of your college, universities, and all that, those were military installations. Those were military installations. And again, when you talk about military and all, and that's from the power structure. So again, that knowledge was restricted to the common folk, or the poor people, or the quote unquote peasant, and especially from the Israelite, because they damn sure didn't want us to know who we were. When you hear a lot of those old stories, even over here, it's one thing that I remember I saw a couple of days ago. Even when they talk about us coming off the slave ships and coming over here, when you listen to, or you think about some of those songs that they used to sing, they didn't sing about no African King Tuts and pyramids and all of that. They sang about swing low, sweet chariot. Them chariots that's in the sky. That's the angels coming back and check on us. That's our people that they quote unquote call UFOs nowadays. They said by that river Jordan, down by the Red Sea. All those are in what's quote unquote called the Middle East, not in what they consider Africa. This is how you know again that we're the people of that book. But over time through propaganda, over time they stripped that from us, and we lost our history and we lost our culture. So again, you will see when King James came in, he had it translated from that from the Hebrew and then the Greek into the English, so that we could all get to it now. And so that's why you have two versions of it. When you get to that New Testament, what you're going to see is it being wrote in the Assyrian. So it's very important that you know both. And again, the ancient is so unique. It's the original. It's going to be a little bit easier for you to hold on to that. But that Assyrian, I know for me, that damn Assyrian for me, that takes practice. It definitely takes practice for you to get to it. Now, this is our letters were characters that actually meant something. So all your letters, all the characters that we have, they actually do mean something. Who knows? And you may have seen it when I first got to this page, and I actually put it on the top. I should have put it on the bottom. So you're going to see it when I get to each letter, you know what I'm saying? Hint, hint. But who knows what that character stands for? What does I stand for? If you know, go ahead and type it in the chat. Who knows what I stands for? Now, I give you a little hint. It's going to be kind of similar to what that looks like, what that character kind of looks like. And if you don't know, that's fine. Again, this is how we learn. This is how we learn. And I know for me, different acronyms everybody learns differently. So you may learn best by just knowing the characters. For me, one of the first times I heard one of the classes where they went over the characters, I remember for some reason all the characters before I actually remember the letters. So you may learn a little bit different. So we just want to try to give you as much as possible for you to hold on to. And again, it's going to take practice. It's going to take us revisiting it. It's going to take redundancy and repetition. But who knows what the I stands for? If you don't know, that's fine. Khan means yes. If you know, put Khan, or you can type what it means. If you don't know, put La'ah. La'ah means no. You can type that in the chat, and then we'll go from there. But again, we're gonna try to practice this stuff more and more as we go in. And we also going to try to practice, get to the point where we know all the tribes. We know all the tribes. We know not only just our tribes, but we know those enemy tribes as well. Because everybody has a tribe or a nation that they come from. Nation is just another word for family. When I say blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, when you say Israel, we all just one big family. And it's all families. You have 18 families in the Bible. And it said those 18 families was going to be here to this day. So don't never let nobody lie and tell you that, well, they mix. And I'm this and I'm that. I always like to tell people, have you ever seen a pineapple watermelon grow out the ground? You ain't never seen no pineapple watermelon grow out the ground because it don't work that. It doesn't work like that. You are the seed of your father. You are the seed of your father. That's who you are. So if your father was from the tribe of Judah, you from the tribe of Judah as well. If your father from the tribe of Zebulun, you from the tribe of Zebulun. If he's from Asher or Naphtali, then that's who you are as well. If he's from Issachar, which is the Mexicans, then you're a Mexican as well. If he's from Ephraim or Aparium, that's the Puerto Ricans, and we're all one big family. But those 12 tribes came together to make what we know as Israel. So I see some eyes coming here, so we're gonna go ahead and get to that as well. So that character I means alap, or cow or cattle. And if you kind of look at the picture of that character, you will kind of see where they get that. If I could rotate that and show you, you would kind of see where they get that picture of that, how we got to or alap. Our language, our culture, our heritage, the law, it makes sense. That's the one way. That's the one thing that really kind of struck out to me, or that really stood out for me when I first came into the truth. Our stuff makes sense. This oppressor, these other nations, their culture, their heritage, it doesn't make any doggone sense. I see you, Sister Coco. Sister Coco said she was gonna say beat, and I get you. I can definitely see that as well. But yeah, that's gonna be a lot, or cattle. We were sheep herders. You know what I'm saying? We were sheep herders, and we dabbled in cattle, and because of that gift that the Most High gave us, that's how we related a lot of things. When you hear that word husbandry is just taking care of the land and the cattle, the livestock, people, and so forth and so forth. What they kind of call agriculture and all that today, all that is a derivative of what's called husbandry. So that's how we related and counted things. And that's how we related and just, you know what I'm saying, made sense of everything. And so again, is alap, which is also cattle or cow. All right. And that should be long enough on that one. We're going to go to the next one. Our next one is going to be Ba. On your left, you have your ancient, and on the right, you have the Assyrian. And on the bottom, you got the pronunciation for it, Ba. And I may be able to get them all in there. So instead of us quizzing each time, let me see if we can. Oh, that's fast. Hold on. Okay, that'll work. All right, so Ba. And Ba is Bayath. Ba is Bayath, or tent. Matter of fact, the word for school, if I'm not mistaken, is Bayath Saparium, or tent, or a house of books. And that's what a school is. So Bayath is tent. On the left, you have the ancient, and on the right, you have the Hebrew, or you have the Assyrian, Salakia. I used to always look at the northern kingdoms, and I would think that they had, we all lost before we come into the truth, but not without me realizing that they was our brothers and our sisters. I just always thought they had a leg up on everybody because they were able to speak to one another. And for the most part, if you didn't know Spanish, you didn't know what the hell they was talking about. And I have been in situations where the oppressor, you know what I'm saying, was at a disadvantage because they didn't speak Spanish. Now, that's not always the case today. I do a lot of different kind of work, and I'm always on construction sites and so forth. And all you see is the Northern Kingdom and Judah. We on every construction site all over the world. We are the builders. We build and make everything. Don't never ever let them tell you anything different. But the further y'all and the brothers and sisters that's out of New Orleans, y'all probably have seen it. But you'll go on one of these construction sites, and it's nothing but Issachar on the site. But the oppressor, okay, damn, I got you. I'm sometimes I say I got to scroll up. You say it's behind the back. Oh, okay, I got you. I can do one even better. I got you. I don't want. I'll scroll up, but I can minimize that banner if I'm not mistaken. Either minimize it or y'all know who I am. I get rid of that banner to make it easier for you to see. But depending on where you go, some of these oppressive has gotten so doggone slick. they done got so doggone slick. They now they know Spanish as well. So they know that as well. So it's shocked me the first time. Then I noticed that it was pretty common where you'll get to a site, and again that oppressor he knows it as well. He eavesdropping and trying to figure out what's going on. Also, I guess he heard gringo so many times he figured he might need to figure out what the hell they talking about. But again, I was impressed or envious of them, not realizing that was a slave master tongue as well. They learned that. Again, they learned that from that oppressor. They learned that from the conquistadors. So B or Ba is going to be Bayath, and that's going to be tent in the Hebrew. See, I need to reduce that space a little bit to make sure we can see it all on one screen. All right, you also have Ga. Ga is going to be the next letter. Ga. Ga is going to be Gamar or camel. Gamar or camel. Ga. Yep. Sister Nazama Na said, yep, she is supervising the plant, and they be ear hustling hard. Damn right, they do. And you know what I'm saying? They can. It's always that stigma. I'm from up north originally, right? It's always that stigma, and I grew up for the majority of my life being up north, and then I ended up going down south as I got older. And it's always that stigma that, okay, well, they down south, so they're a little bit slower than everybody else. And that can't be further from the truth. I done met some of the most brilliant, brightest people in the world down south. And they let that southern drawl, you'll let that southern drawl fool you if you want to. But that oppressor, yeah, they are quick to eavesdrop. They try to learn the Spanish, and they make sure they damn sure try to make sure they see exactly what's going on, so they can keep keep the plantation running smoothly like they like. So yeah, you see that. So I see that so much when I'm working and I'm down. So I'm slaving and I'm down south. You definitely see that a lot. We got Sister Anai in the building. Yahweh Shema Lathan Ba Hashem Yahweh Shah. All right, so God, you got God in the ancient on the left, and then you got God in the Assyrian on the right. And God stands for Gamar. Gamar. All right. Next up, we got Da. When you see the shield, that we wear, you'll get a lot of people that don't know the Bible, don't know what the hell they talking about, and they quick, even them imposters, they're quick to say this is the Star of David. But while y'all taking your notes, who could tell me what a star looks like? What shape is a star? Who knows what shape a star is? Who knows what shape a star is? I'm gonna show you how dumb this oppressor is, and how dumb he's made a lot of us as well. It's so many things is right there out in front of your eyes. You know what I'm saying? The Bible says, just open your eyes and look and see. Ask the animals, ask the trees, and they would tell you who this devil is. Devil just means deceiver. The oppressor is the devil. He's a devil that the Bible speaks of. The reason why he's a devil that the Bible speaks of, he has lied about every damn thing. Everything that can be lied about, he's lied about. And unfortunately, we have believed it because it's everywhere. All right. So Sister Nazama now says, Salakia, our shield. I got you. Okay, I got you. Who else? What shape? What shape is a star? Who knows what shape a star is? Because when the Bible says, when it's talking about a star, they're getting that from one particular verse. And I may bring it up in the next class that we in, because I don't want to throw y'all off on the slides or whatever. But in the Bible, it's a verse that talks about the star of Molech. And that's where they actually try to get the quote unquote star of David and all of that from. They try to get that. They try to say it's devil worship and so forth. But again, nobody knows the Bible outside of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Nobody does. So like Sister Nazama Nah said, our shield, that's going to be Magan. Magan Dawada. Magan Dawada is going to be the shield of David. And this is a shield. So when you see that Dawada, you see your da, the triangle shape there. You flip that upside down. That's your other da, and then you got your Y, which another letter we're gonna get to shortly. So that's his signet. I don't know if y'all ever seen some of those older movies. You ever seen any of those older movies, especially movies with the older Nosferatu or Dracula or the vampires and so forth? Or they over in London, when that king or whoever's in charge as secretary gets ready to sign a document, Salakia, and you will see them kind of melt the wax. You'll see them melt the wax, and then they'll take their ring and they'll stick it in and they'll put it in the wax so that their symbol is on there. That's where you get the Dawada from. The Dawada is just that first part of that triangle flipped upside down, and then you got the Y in there as well. So that was the signet. That was the signature of our King David. So that's where you get that Dawada from. That's the signature of our King David. But so again, they may have the old wax and they would seal the letters and like that. So that way, when that messenger took that letter and he took it to the other person that was going to get it, the other king or queen or whoever was in charge, they would look at that authority figure would look at that and see, okay, this seal hasn't been opened. Then they would look at it and see that crest. They would see that sign or that signet on that seal. Now they know where this is coming from. This is official. This is coming from the king. So when you look at our shield, that's what that is. That's going to be your Dawada. That's what that is. And that's called the Magan Dawada in the Hebrew, the shield of David. But when you look at when you talk about a star, the Bible says that a star is a circle, and that's going to be in the sky. A star is a circle. The sun is a star, right? Everybody recognizes and know that the sun is a star. The sun is a star. But that star, that sun that you look in the sky, it's no definitive points on that sun when you look at it, if you can look at it that long. That sun is a circular shape. It's a ball of gas. So a star is a ball, a circle. But they have lied to us so much. We believe stars have points and they look like this, and that's just not the truth. This oppressor is not as smart as he doesn't deserve the credit that we give him or the rest of the world gives him. So again, when you talk about that Dawada, that Magan Dawada, that's our shield, and that's just his name. That's his signature. That's just his name, and that's all that means. In the Bible, when it talks about the star of Molech, the star of Molech was an idol. It was an idol of Rifram, an idol that they were sacrificing the children to. And maybe again, next class I get into, we'll pull those scriptures up and kind of go over that, because that's a good piece of knowledge to have. But so when it talks about that star of Molech, what it's talking about is just like your stars you have today, like your LeBron James and your Michael Jordans and your Mayweathers that take $50 million and send it over to some of the richest people on the earth, and sends his private jet to some of the richest people on the earth because they own all his contracts and so forth. Like your Leon Cohen's that own all the music. And when he's asked, well, why you make music to talk about drug dealing and drug using with everything that's going on, he says, well, I got to feed my family. Keep in mind, now these are some of the richest people as ever walked the earth. Why? Because they own the media, they own the television, they own the music, they own all of that. They've been stealing our resources from the very, very, very beginning. And because we don't know it, they get away with it scot-free. You think about it, any star, especially if you're a little bit older, think about all the stars you know, music stars, television stars. Every time a star dies, I think Matthew Perry was one of the last ones. Now he's an Edomite. He was on that show Friends. Friends, they, boy, if you know how much money they was making off of this show. I'm talking about buku money, multiple digit millions every episode. That's a whole another topic. But even him, when he passed, one of the first things they always say, he suffered from drug addiction. He suffered from drug addiction, or he battled addiction for this long. And that's prevalent. That's known. The difference with an Edomite star and our stars, not only do they suffer from the drug addiction, they also suffer from being homeless and broke. They never have no money once they leave. And it's because, again, those other people done stole everything from us, and we don't even realize it, because we don't realize who we are. So when it's talking about a star, again, the star is a ball. It's a circular. It's a circle shape. A ball of gas. The sun is a star. But this shield right here, that's the signature of our king David. This is the Magan Dawada. And Sister Nizama said it's wild because we was drawing it at a young age and didn't really, damn right, we was drawing it at a young age and didn't realize it, thinking that it's a star. And that's absolutely correct. And if I'm not mistaken, I've got to get a little clarification. Or if I'm not mistaken, I want to say that quote unquote 5-point star is going to be your signet with Solomon. If I'm not mistaken. But again, yeah, when you talk about the Magan Dawada, that's what it's referring to. That's what it's referring to. And it's so sad because depending on what region you in, and really it don't matter where you at now, because gang culture done spread all over the place. I'm from up north, so I grew up around vice lords and gangster disciples. So being up under that 5 or being up under that 6, that was critical. That was crucial. That's what we did in the world. That's what we did. Not even realizing that even those symbols, those signs, all that stuff comes from us. The bomb. It's a series that we have on the channel. Y'all make sure y'all check it out, called The Former of All Things. The Former of All Things. And when it says Jacob is the former of all things, everything you see, guaranteed, you look at it long enough, do enough research, look at your history, it comes from us. In some way, shape, or form, it comes from us. So you are absolutely right, sister. All right, so the laf, or door, or da. Da is the laf, or door. You think about a tent, that's going to be the door to that tent. The laf, door. All right. Next one up is going to be ha. And you will see ha quite often, a lot of times in that Bible, ha. And ha is hana, or behold. You got ha on the left in your ancient. You got ha on your right in the Assyrian. And ha is hana, or behold. And we'll leave that up there for a second so that you can get your notes. And again, that Assyrian, that's again, for me, that's that one. That Assyrian is that one for me, because that's the one, again, if you notice, our characters look different. You can tell how they derive some of the Assyrian from the ancient, but our characters are distinct. They're different. They're unique. When you get to that Assyrian, a lot of them start to look the same. And so, again, it's for me, that ancient was a little bit easier for me to catch on to. That Assyrian, I got to study that every day, all the time. When you hear us saying our prayers, we're speaking in that Hebrew. It's not that quote unquote Yiddish that the Edomites use. It's not that Yiddish that the Edomite use. So again, it's very important that we study amongst each other and learn amongst each other and get back to our language. Sister Nizama says that and on slavery, saying they working me like a Hebrew slave, not knowing we speaking the truth. Exactly. So that gets right back to what I was saying as far as some of those old Negro spirituals. Down by the Jordan, on Red Sea, and our swing low, sweet chariot. We don't even realize that we speaking the same thing. We speaking the Bible. We speaking the truth and not even realizing that it's the truth. Because a lot of our traditions, especially after slavery, was passed down. When you think about the ones that revolted, you think about Nat Turner. If you ever see that movie Birth of a Nation, and make sure you watch the right one, because the first movie ever, and we might talk about, I might have to have Officer Mataza Akarad do a class on Birth of a Nation. The first real movie, motion picture movie that they ever had was Birth of a Nation, which shows you why we so lost and gone off movies. And in that movie, they depicted us as the vilest thing ever. Sexually assaulting on white women, a whole clan riding behind us trying to get us. That was your first motion picture movie. Now that was your first movie. That's where your movies come from. Was Birth of a Nation. But then there was a remake. And it was about Nat Turner. And this is the Virginia class with Nat Turner. If y'all didn't know, Nat Turner was in that Virginia. He was in Virginia. They were selling his body parts all over Virginia. At one point in time, before I got in the truth, I actually used to I was a barber and still do a little bit on the side, but I was a barber, and one of the guys that I cut with, Nat Turner, was actually his people. I forget the actual title, but it was like a great uncle or something like that. And he came in one because we were talking about it, even before I got in the truth. It's something about when you one westbound, it's just something else about you. You look different. So I was always talking about, my people, liberation, freedom, the whole nine. I ain't never really could stand no Edomite, but we were talking about it, and he said it, and I don't think they really believed him like that when they was talking. He came back in the next day with a portrait that his grandma and them got up on a mantle, a little picture, and it's of Nat Turner. And sure enough, that was his folks. Now I don't think he ever picked up his sword and came up in here, but Nat Turner messed around and got a copy of that full Bible. We talked about the Bible and stuff in the beginning. They used to give the slaves what's called a quote unquote slave Bible. That slave Bible has some very, very key missing parts in it. So you would get parts like slaves be good to your masters or obey your masters, but it would never get to the second part of that. The other part of that, when the Bible telling us to be obedient to our masters, you got to think about it. Christ, his disciples, Christ got down and washed his disciples' feet. So not only was his disciples supposed to be obedient to him, he said, if you love me, if you're my friend, you're going to do what I'm going to say. He got down and in turn, and he treated them well as also. He treated them with honor as well as also. And that's how we're supposed to be as a people. But they only gave us half of that. They only gave us a piece or a portion of that. Just saying, be good slaves. Be good slaves. You're going to get heaven later on. I'm going to beat you, kill you, sleep with your wife the whole night. But later on, you're going to float up in the sky and you're going to get your piece of heaven. None of that's in the Bible. But they gave us what's called a quote unquote slave Bible. When Nat Turner messed around and got a full copy. And once he was reading it, he read Deuteronomy. I'm assuming he read that Deuteronomy. He read, the description of that devil, and realized them same ones that's beating us, unaliving us, and doing all this stuff. Them the same devils it's talking about in this Bible. When it's talking about freedom and us getting free from Egypt out of all them years of hard bondage, that's the same stuff we going through over here. And that's why he went on that quote unquote revolt, and he was unaliving them devils. Why? Because that word was speaking to him. Now, I always got to make sure I clarify. We in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We don't condone any kind of violence. We're going to wait on the Lord. We're going to wait on the Lord. The Lord in the Bible says that vengeance is his, and it's coming. You can look around and see World War III is here. They don't officially call it that, but it's here. So it's coming. And it's going to come a time and point where, we're going to have to get our hands dirty, right? The Bible says that I call for fishermen. So right now, when we trying to teach this knowledge, we trying to teach the language, we trying to get the classes out, the poor brothers in, we fishing. We fishing trying to get the brothers and sisters in. But then it says it's going to come a time when them fishers going to go away, and I'm going to call for hunters. And that's a whole different time when them hunters get on the scene. So we ain't quite there yet. So we don't condone any kind of violence. We're going to let the Lord work. We're going to let the Lord work, be faithful, build this kingdom like we're supposed to. But Sister Nazamana is absolutely correct. That saying, working me like a Hebrew slave, not even realize that we are the Hebrew slave. It shows you just how disconnected we are from that truth. Sister Coco said, wow, I always tell people, right, Sister Coco, you can be in church your entire life. You could be in church 30 years, 40 years. You can be an old pulpit veteran. You feel me? You can be a veteran in that. You can come to one of these classes and in 5 minutes, 5-10, you give us 5-10 minutes, you'll learn more in that 5 or 10 minutes than you ever learned your entire time being in that church. Every time, guaranteed. I stand on that because I stand on my brothers and my sisters. I stand on the shoulders of the men that came before me, the men that's greater than me, and that's the truth. That's the truth. Officer Mataz Akra said that first version was done by the oppressor, horrible, and it was. That's why I said I want you to jump on that because it was so monumental. That movie was so. That's what started Hollywood. That's what started Hollywood. You got people now that got the same views in that movie now, today in 2023. That's just how powerful, how strong that they modeled all the movies afterwards. They modeled after that. That was your first. They really learned how. You got that saying that says I'm trying to remember exactly how it go. A picture. Okay, that is a picture is worth 1,000 words. That's when they learned that. Oh, they learned that shit then. They learned that a picture, a moving picture, a movie is worth 1,000 words, more than all the books they can write, all the propaganda they can come up with. Boy, if you put it in a movie, everybody walks away and believes it. They believed that we was the worst, most vile thing on earth. They believed that we were just running down oppressor she-saw, running down oppressor women and just taking them. They believe that, and they believe a lot of that to this day. That's the same sentiment that you will see in your courtrooms to this day. You watch Fox News, it's the same sentiment. It's the same thing. We subhuman. We the worst of the worst. You forget all the stuff they did to us. All of it. And then the one that's playing us in the movie. Well, we weren't in no movies in it back then. So he was in blackface. This is an oppressor with an oppressor's idea of us. And again, it's such a, if you've never seen it before, watch it. The young man that's paying attention, watch that movie. Watch that. You'll see how all your movies are. You look at all our movies. It's hard for me to watch Tubi, and Cat be getting on me because he said they got they got a good catalog. But you watch any of our shows and we always in the trap. Our women always on the pole. We always trying to get this pack off. We always we fulfill and run to be in that character when we are so much greater, so much better than that. And a lot of that comes from that very, very, very first film. It set the pace for Hollywood for generations, centuries to come. So yeah, hopefully that's my shameless plug. Hopefully, my Officer Mataz Akra jump on that one of these classes. Since Nizam and I said, yeah, we the salt of the earth, no doubt. Everything they get from us. Everything, even that movie was monumental and powerful. And even though it was derogatory towards us, it was about us. It's still, you think about it. Now, y'all in charge, y'all got your own thing, but it's still about us. Don't nothing shake, rattle, or roll without us. And once we really, really, truly realize that, truly realize that, we'll stop wanting to play the victim or stop trying to play the demon in their movies. Stop trying to fulfill that character that they done wrote for us. And realize that we write the character. We really are. We are the best of the best of the best. It's just that we've been taught to be the worst. And the thing about when you the best, when you the salt of the earth, even if you're doing something wrong, guess what? People gonna follow you into doing something wrong, and you're gonna be good at doing something wrong. That's that gift and the curse of being the salt of the earth. This is why we're supposed to be the saints of the earth, but this oppressor that taught us to be the devil, and we like being it. And this is why you see stuff on the decline like it is. And if you're a little bit older, you done seen how hip hop ain't like it used to be. I remember them old folks saying, "I don't see how y'all listen to this mess. And we up there, it ain't that bad, it ain't that bad." And you look at it now, we just like them old folk. Oh, this done got out of control. It's like got out of control. Sister Coco said she agree. All right, so let's get back to it. Ha, and you're gonna see that. And when we get to the Lord's name, Yahweh, ha means to behold. Next one up is gonna be Wah. The Wah, you'll see it on the left in the ancient. You'll see it on the right in the Hebrew. Now that Wah is one of those that when I say that Assyrian can be a little difficult or tricky. When I say that Assyrian can start to blur and look just like the other words, that Wah is one of those ones. It'll look like some of your other characters, some of your other letters or whatever. So again, it takes a good amount of studying so that you get used to seeing it. But Y, you got Y in the ancient on the left, you got Y in the Assyrian on the right. And that Y, if you look at the ancient, that Y stands for fish hook. Stands for fish hook. And that's your Y. But yeah, it's so much stuff like that, though, Sister Nazama, now that they put right in our face, and we just don't realize it. There's so many things that we still say and do, and we don't even realize that it's be telling the truth. Like I give you another one. I know y'all probably all done heard it. They cuss me out. They call me everything but a child of God. Think about that. We are the only children of God, and we the only ones who use that saying. They call me everything but a child of God, not even realizing that you are the children of God. They put it right in front of your face. It's something they say. If you want to have something for somebody, put it right in front of them. Don't put it on your bed. No. Put it right in front of them. Well, they put our truth right in front of us. They thought that little of us to put it right in front of us. When you hear those stories about, okay, the slaves, they catch them with books and they burnt their eyes out and so forth, what books you think they caught them with? Because if you think about a slave, right, slaves did all the work. So if you're a slave and you got to do all the work and you got to go down to the market to buy potatoes for the master because that's not your crop, or you got to go down there to buy this and buy that, you mean to tell me that you don't know how to read this slip, how grandma used to call it? You don't know how to read this old slip to see what's on it? You don't know how to read. The master won't 4 bushels of potatoes. You can't read. The master won't 4 stalks of corn. You can't read none of this. That makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. It wasn't that they didn't want us to read. They didn't want us reading that Bible. They didn't want us because we were closer to it then than we are now. It's stories of like when if you would have got down to the last Passover when we went to Stagville, the plantation. When those slaves first when slave was first over, they were leaving and going off on their own, hadn't to have service on Saturday. We knew who we were to a certain extent. It hadn't been drilled all the way out of us yet. We had held on to a good bit of it. It hadn't been drilled out of us yet. It was a lot of propaganda, a lot of work, trillions and trillions of dollars spent on erasing your knowledge, your heritage, and your culture. Not only erasing it from you, but giving it to somebody else and saying it's theirs. Right now, maybe I'll look it up for next class. I need to write that down. But right now, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it's the second or third. Second or third highest number of cancer. It's right over there where they're fighting at right now. Right over there in our land. Reason being, they don't belong in that region. They don't belong in that region. So I think right there in Israel, quote unquote Israel, they got one of the highest cancer rates in the world, skin cancer, because they don't belong over there. It's not their land. Christ and his mother, them, they left, ran and hid in what's quote unquote Middle East or Africa. They hid down there. Nowhere in the world. We ran from our hometown in 70 AD. Nowhere in the world those pale-faced people. Yep, skin and Officer Matazar Karai is absolutely correct. It's skin cancer specifically. I always say Most High got a sense of humor. I don't care what nobody said. It's skin cancer, not pancreatic, lung. No. They have skin cancer specifically, and I want to say it's the second. Either I know at one point I read they were like the number 2. So it's either the second or third, and maybe number 1 at this point, but they're right up there with the highest amount of skin cancer in the world. These are people that got every advantage, every economic advantage possible. That's got 3 and 4, 5, 6 different summer homes all over the world. You know what I'm saying? Something we can't even imagine. We trying to pay rent in our primary address. You know what I'm saying? You imagine having you 4, 5, 6 homes as big as hotels, and that's just for play. We have no idea how wealthy these people are, but they got their wealth based off of us. They got their wealth based off of our work. And like Officer Matazar Karai said, it's skin cancer specifically, and that's Esau's disease. Damn right. We the only people that love the oppressor. The son don't even love the oppressor. The son, every time they walk outside, the son is trying to take their ass out. He try and get rid of them every time they come outside. We are the only ones that love the oppressor the way that we love the oppressor. Blacks, Latinos, Native Indians. Everybody else in the world, you look at what's going on right now. There's a video that I was watching earlier. I just actually commented because one of us was talking crazy on, so I had to respond to him. Where it's the IDF, which is your Israelite your police force, your military force, whatever over there. They beating up. They giving one of them quote unquote Zionist Jews the business. Now your Zionists are the ones who believe that they're supposed to have a state and that's their land and all that. They got a right to be over there from the Bible, even though they don't believe in the Bible. Make it make sense. But anyway, he over there, the police, when I say he beating him like he's a Negro, he beat them like he's a Negro, in the video. I call that white on white crime. That is white on white crime. We are not to get involved. We need to sit back and let the Lord work. But the ones on the chat that's arguing is that's mad is us, because we don't know who we are. We don't even realize. Even the son know and recognize that they don't belong over there, but we don't recognize and know it. So, all right. So, why? And you got that in the ancient, and you got that in the Assyrian. All right. Next, you got Za. Za. This is one of my favorite favorite letters. Za. Za stands for Zion or weapon. This is one of the ones that I learned first. Before I learned any of the other letters, I think I learned this one first. Za, weapon. And it's stuck. Zion is weapon. You got Za in the ancient, and then you have Za in the Assyrian. Zion. And Zion stands for weapon. So hopefully y'all are getting some good notes. All right, we're going to go to the next one. The next one is going to be Kawama or Ka. And like Officer Yarash always reminds us, when you saying that Ka, is you want to be like kind of like you're coughing, like scratching the back of your throat. Ka. And that's Kama, which stands for fence. And if you look at the picture, you look at the character, kind of looks like a fence. Salaki, that's going to be Ka. Now, this is another letter. You have it in your ancient on the left, and your Assyrian on the right. This is another one, though. When you're reading that Assyrian, it can look just like the Ha. It also can look just like the Fa. So it's another one where you really got to kind of pay attention to it. The way that I try to kind of remember it, the Fa, it's a little bit more fancier. Got a little bit on the back where you can see it. The Ha is probably the easiest one to distinguish because it's going to be a space, a gap in between. Look, I'm pointing to the screen like y'all can see my finger. It's going to be a little space, a little gap right there. You know what I'm saying? So the Ha, the Ka, and the Tha all kind of look alike. So again, it definitely requires you to kind of pay a little attention to it. Or yonder bar, sis, or yonder bar, wife, no doubt. So Ka. And you have that on the left in the ancient, on the right in the Assyrian, and that's going to be Kawama. Kawama'a. And that's going to be fence. All right. Next up, we got Ta. You got Ta in your ancient on your left, and you got Ta in your Assyrian on the right. And even from looking at both of those in the ancient and the Assyrian, you can kind of see how they derive the actual T that we got today in the English. You can see where they derived all that from. Again, everything comes from us. We are a nation that's undesired. Don't nobody like us. Don't nobody want us. Everybody wants to go back home, but they in all our homes. Imagine that. They in your damn house telling you to go back home. That's the life of an Israelite. But Ta stands for Tanah, or basket. Tanah, or basket. Tanah, or basket. Basket meaning basket, like your store, or so forth. How you gather your goods and all that. Basket. Now, also in that Assyrian, that ta can get a little confusing as well, because it's very similar. It's gonna be very similar to your pa, with the way you write that out. It's gonna be very similar to that pa. So that ta can throw you off a little bit as well if you're not paying attention. But with just like everything, again, everything comes from us. That's the beautiful part about it, because everything comes from us. You got that reassurance of knowing that if anybody can learn it, you can learn it. If anybody can do it, best believe you can do it, because you're the ones who did it at first anyway to begin with. So that ta, and again, that ta is gonna look very similar like to that pa. It's gonna look like that pa. All right, so we're gonna go to the next one. You also have Yah. This is another one that you will see quite often. Your Yah in the ancient on the left, and Yah in the Assyrian. Now, me, I always get that Yah and that Wah confused, but if you look at it, that Yah is just real short, almost kind of like an apostrophe. That Yah is real short, real small. That Wah is going to be extended. It's a lot longer than that Wah, but I always, for some reason, get those confused. And Yah stands for Yad, which is your hand. Yad, which is your hand. But this is one of the ones you will see quite often in the scriptures. You'll see that Yah quite often in the scriptures. Yah is also one of our prepositions, if I'm not mistaken. So it goes at the end of some of our scriptures as well. So you're going to see that Yah quite often. You'll see that Yah quite often. And again, the more and more you read it, the more it'll stick out, the more you'll be able to see it. But that Yah and that Wah can be a little bit confusing. And Yah stands for Yad. All right, another one that's pretty common is going to be Ka. Now, with this one, this is our first one like this. Let me make sure I get it centered just right so you can see everything. All right. With this one, you notice you have two characters on that left-hand side under the Assyrian. And even though it says it right there, and you should be able to see it, why do we have two characters? Who can type in the chat? Why do we have two characters for the Ka and the Assyrian? Who can tell me? Let me check this real quick while y'all typing it in. All right, let's see what we got in the chat. What we got? All right, now Sister Coco said dual form. Not necessarily. And that's all right. That's a good shot at it. I remember going over the dual form class as well with Officer Urash Amar. But Officer Mataza Karai, give him a hand. That bottom left. I'm sorry. Look, he corrected in the next one. Salakia. The bottom right is what we use when a letter comes at the end of a word, and that's absolutely correct. So when a letter is at the end of a word in that Assyrian, when it's the last letter at that word, it's going to change for ka. So you won't see, if you can see my arrow, you won't see the one at the top right there. You're going to see this one down here at the bottom where that red arrow was pointing at. So if it's at the end of a word, if it's at the end of the word, then you're going to see that character in that bottom right in that Assyrian for ka. And that's another one, again, when you talk about the Assyrian and how some of them look alike, that ka at the end, I think in the Yiddish, they call it the kaf or whatever, but at the end, it looks very similar to the da. It looks very similar to ra. So they, again, is one of the ones you really want to kind of pay attention to see where it's coming at the end of at where it's at placement wise inside of that sentence or that word. So if it's at the end of the word, then again that's going to be ka, and it's going to look like that at the very end of the word. So it's another one. It's a little tricky, but again, with practice, you can get it. You'll be all right. There's so many things that we do naturally, not even realizing that we're doing it. And language is another one. The Bible is wrote in slang, and so we shorten up when it's not needed. You know, we keep it short and sweet and simple with everything that we do. It's the same thing with this language. So given time and a little bit of practice, you'll definitely get it. But ka is kap, which is palm, like the palm of your hand. And if you look at the palm of your hand, it's amazing, but you will see that very same symbol up in there that you will see for the ancient, for the ka. And that's where they get that from. So again, that's the palm of your hand. All right. Next up, we got la, which is lamad, which means to learn. La, which means lamad, which means to learn. And I think I've heard that la is supposed to be kind of similar to a staff, if I'm not mistaken, like our elders, and where you get that learn from. But la is learn, and that's one of the if out of a lot of the letters, that one in Zah, you can definitely tell without a shadow of a doubt that came from the ancient. Without a shadow of a doubt, they didn't really do too much changing on that when they got to the English. It looks very, very similar, or the exact same as what it looks like in the English. That's going to be la, and you got your la in the ancient, and you got your la in the Assyrian. And depending on what text you're reading, that la in the Assyrian can switch up and look totally different from what you're looking at now. But for the most part, it's going to be somewhat in that same shape or whatever. So that Assyrian, again, it takes practice. It definitely takes practice, but we them people, and everything comes from us. This is also like when you talk, it has like a rhythm to it when you talk. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody read as fast as Officer Urash Maf. Officer Urash Maf, how you feeling bad on Sabbath service? How you feeling bad on Sabbath service? Because you be trying to catch up and keep on. You be trying to stay up with him, and he'll read about 4 verses, and you still on the first couple of lines. But our language has a rhythm to it. A rhythm to it. And if you listen to like a lot of your Middle Eastern dialects and so forth, it's gonna sound somewhat similar to ours. We just got put on the other side of the earth where they don't speak like this at all. So that's why it can be somewhat of a challenge. Well, I was just about to get ready to say, Officer Mataza Akara, I know you can relate. And Officer Mataza Akara said, damn right, you make you feel bad. Officer Urash Mom make you walk away like, I ain't learned the damn thing. I ain't learned nothing. I don't even know what I'm going to class for. So don't never ever feel like that. It's just, again, it's a testament to, You put that time in and study it, and you'll get like that as well. But I mean, he read it like, yeah, like look, hey, obviously watch Mobby running through them doggone scripture, running through them so much, you'll have to go back and check. I bet he ain't say all of them. You get to reading, he said every last one of these damn words. But it's again, you just get better and better with it the more and more you do it. It's like with anything, the more you practice it, the more you do it, the more it makes sense, the more you get used to it. So he is definitely a testament to what you can be or what you can get to if you put that time in with this Hebrew. Sister Nizam and I said, all good. We have to be taught over how to walk, talking rightly. Tell me about you. You are absolutely correct, Sister Aqua. You are absolutely correct. We got to learn everything. The Bible says, you can't pour new wine you can't mix new wine with the old wine. You got to put that old wine out first. When it talks about getting rid of that old man, it's referring to those exact same things, So, and it's the same thing with the language, with our tongue. You got to start all over again. And I think for me, I retain a lot, so I had to dump a lot to actually get to the spot where I can actually start to learn it. Because you got to dump a lot of those old habits that you get with learning the English tongue. But it can be done. It definitely can be done. And that's the Bible. That's the word. That's the truth. The more you put in, the more you're gonna get out. The more you go towards the Most High, the more He's gonna come towards you. He's gonna give you that knowledge that you're seeking, that you're searching for. But again, you gotta want it. You gotta want it. I always like to go to Exodus 15:3. Says the Lord is a man of war. Warfare is a fight. So if you don't fight for it, you don't really want it. And if you think about it, when we was out in that world, we'll fight for all kinds of stuff that don't make no sense. We'll fight for it. We'll fight tooth and nail for it, get locked up for it, the whole nine. We out in that world, so it should be the exact same way, if not stronger, or more compelling once you get into this truth. And we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. And the more we work for it now, the more it's gonna make sense, and the more it's gonna benefit us later on. So lie in the ancient on your left, and then lie in the Assyrian on your right. And lie stands for lamad, or learn. Next up is gonna be mayam, or ma. Now ma is another one of those letters where it's gonna be different at the very end. You got ma, your ancient on the left, and then on your right you have your Assyrian. On the top, that's gonna be the ma you get if you're at the beginning of a word. At the end of a word, that little house right there is gonna be kind of closed up. It's gonna be closed up, more block shape, and that's gonna be the ma that you get at the end of a word. And ma stands for mayam, or water. Mayam. Now, me, I would make it a habit every Hebrew class, and I fell off a little bit because I be doing so much now. But in the very beginning, and I'm trying to get back to it now. In every Hebrew class, I will write out my alphabet. I will write it out because I knew we was gonna go over this portion right here. So even though I may be taking notes, taking screenshots, the whole nine, in some way, shape, or form, I'm writing it out because that helped for me. That helped to make it stick for me. So I will write it out. I will write ancient on this side. I will write the Assyrian on this side. And really, I would try to fill up a whole line. I don't know if y'all a little bit older. You remember getting in trouble in school and they had you writing them lines on the chalkboard. So I would fill up me a whole line of a couple, maybe 2 or 3 ancients, maybe 2, because I was again an ancient stuck. But that Assyrian, I might write that out 3 or 4 times, depending on the character. And then I will go down to the next one. Then over time, it's stuck. And even now when I read, if I'm reading in the ancient, I'm good. When I read that Assyrian, I'm still going back to my notes. I'm still going back to my little cheat sheet. Now, if you speaking of screenshots, the very if you look at the title page of this, the thumbnail that I did for the title page, that's gonna be all your Hebrew. That's gonna be your Hebrew. That's all of it. You can go there, or you can actually go on Google and Google Lashawan, Qadash. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's 15 million different Israelite groups, but everybody, I swear, everybody learns from the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. If they ain't learning it right now in 2023, they learned it back in 1970, and they still teaching it to this day, trying to claim that it's theirs. So you will see that exact same chart. And so it's good to, I remember, getting stuff and having it saved on my phone. So as I'm driving, I can put it up and I can look at it. Sister Nazam, when I said Salaki, I brought an alphabet tablet to write my Hebrew. Like, hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. If I could flip through my notes right now, you would swear I was back in kindergarten, elementary. I mean, that's how you learn. You got your 3 lines, you got your dotted line in the middle. Hey, it don't get no better than that. It don't get no better than that. So yeah, and even on some of the apps, it's funny that you mentioned that. Even on some of the apps that you pull up and you look up at, as far as learning the Hebrew, you're going to have that same chart that you're talking about that's in that tablet. The same chart going to be in the background. So, again, it's you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong, Agwav. You right on it. You right on it, and it's going to be whatever works for you. But for me, it helped. It was beneficial for me to write it out. And shoot, truth be told, I don't got no dotted lines in my notebooks, but I damn sure got lines. So yeah, we right there on the same page. We on the same doggone page. Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right, so that's your Ma. Now your Ma's gonna look very similar. Ma stands for Mayam, water. Ma's gonna look very similar to your Na. You got your Na. You got your Na on your left in the ancient, and then you got your Na on the right in the Assyrian. Now your Na, again, it's another one of those ones where it's going to look a little different at the end. It's going to be a different character at the end if it's in the Assyrian. And if you notice, that looks to me just like the Da, just like the Ra, just like the Ka. It looks like all of those. Now it's going to be a little bit thinner. It's going to have a little bit of a twist in it at the very top of it, if you notice. But this is going to be Na at the end. And it'd be ones like this that kind of throw me off when I'm reading in that Assyrian. But again, the more you study, the more you get it. Even the Na in the beginning in the Assyrian looks very similar to the Ba. It looks very similar to the Ba. It also looks very similar to the Ka. It's more of a square shape, so you don't have the circular shape as far as the Ka at the beginning. But this is your Na. This is your Na in the Assyrian, and Na stands for Nawan. Nawan is sprout, like a plant that sprouts up, like sprout. So your M is Yan. Your M, that's going to be your water. Your N is going to be Nawan. So M is Mayam, ending in the M, and N is Nawan. And then in the end, just like N, Nawan, which is sprout. Get a couple more seconds on that, because again, that Assyrian, those two characters both look like something else. Both of them look like something else. So again, when you're reading it, it definitely takes practice and time and repetition. Because when you're reading it, both of those characters can both look like different characters. It can look like the Da, it can look like the Ka, it can look like they both of them do. So that Na can be really tricky. And even on your ancient, this is probably one of the only ones in the ancient that looks similar to another one. Your Na in the ancient looks very similar to the Ma in the ancient. But if you look at it, you'll see that N. You'll see that same N, this reverse that they got for their N. The same N, and you'll see that same M in the Ma, same one, just reverse. All right. Next letter up is going to be Sa. Sa. You got Sa in your ancient on your left, and then you got Sa in the Assyrian on the right. Now that Sa means Samak, or establish. If you look at that symbol, or you look at that letter or the character of the Sa, that's like a flag that you plant. Sa. All right. Awesome. Taza Akara gave us old tip. He said that Na in the Assyrian stretches down further than the Y. Okay, Khan Awakan. And look, Sister Nazama, now you were talking about that book. But that's where that book comes in handy at, because you got those 3 lines. So as you're writing that na in the Assyrian, like Officer Matazar Karai is saying, it's gonna come down past the end of it. You see what I'm saying? So that's where that book, again, ain't nothing wrong with that. It's a reason why they gave us those in the beginning. I think it's one of the saddest things. They stopped teaching cursive a long time ago back in school. I remember when my son came home and I asked him something and they didn't know what the hell cursive was, and I felt real old. But that book that you're talking about, that tablet, that handwriting tablet that you got, that's what that's for. So you can distinguish between certain words. Certain letters is gonna go beyond that bottom line, go beyond the dotted line, and you can definitely show that with that. So like Officer Matazar Karai saying, that na in the Assyrian, when you get to that na, that last character, the one that's at the end, it's gonna go down further than that y. That y is gonna stop right there at the bottom of that line. That na, it's gonna go past it at the bottom. So that's a very good point. Very good point, Officer Matazar Karai. But sa stands for samak, or establish, and it's gonna be like a flag that you're planting. So sa. Now sa was one of the ones where you'll notice that sa in the Assyrian is gonna look very, very similar to the next letter we're getting ready to pull up. So you have your sa in the ancient on your left, and you have your sa in the Assyrian on your right, which stands for samak, or establish. But our next letter is going to be I, or ayan. And that I in the ancient makes sense because it looks like an eye, like the orbital, the circle of your eye. But it looks very similar to that sa in the Assyrian. So you can get those confused. I have gotten those confused before. So you have I in the ancient on your left, and you have I in your ancient on the right. And I stands for ayan, or I. Ayan, or I. All right. Our next letter is going to be pa. Pa. Which to me look like a J. Looks like a J almost in that ancient. But you got pa on your left in the ancient. Then you got pa in the Assyrian on your right. And this is where the one I was telling you, they can look very similar. You can get those. For me, I would always get that confused with that ta. But if you look at that P, it's almost like a reverse P in the English. So you got pa on your left, which is the ancient, and then pa on your right, which is the Assyrian. And at the bottom right, that's going to be your pa at the end. Looks very similar to that ra and the da and the ka, but you do have that little hook on the end of it to kind of distinguish it. So it's actually a little bit easier than the rest of them. And pa stands for mouth. Pa stands for mouth. So all right. Next one up is going to be Tazah. Tazah stands for side, or Tazad stands for side. You got Tazah on the left for the ancient. Then you got Tazah on your right in the Assyrian. And Tazah is another one that has 2 characters, a different one for the last one at the end. Now, I thought this was like the coolest letter out of all of them. I don't know what it is about that Tazah in the ancient. I love that letter in the ancient. But Tazah, you will see this one another one that's quite often. You'll see this one in the scriptures, but it's unique. It's unique enough, even in the Assyrian, where it's not that hard to identify. So it's not like your ka, like your da, your ra, or your ka, or your na. But this is tazah, tazah, and tazah stands for side. All right. All right. Our next one is going to be qua. Qua. You got qua on your left in the ancient, and then you got qua on your right in the Assyrian. Qua is where they get Q from, and qua stands for quam or rise. When we say quam yashala, we're saying rise Israel, rise Israel. Trying to wake those dry bones, we're trying to wake them up. Quam means to rise. So you have your qua in the ancient, and then you have your qua in the Assyrian. All right. After qua, we getting to the end, y'all. We getting to the end. We got Ra. Now this is another one. You have Ra in the ancient on your left. You have Ra and the Assyrian on the right. But you notice that Ra looks very similar to the Da. It's very similar to the Ka. Now the Ra, it doesn't extend below the bottom, like Officer Mataza was saying before. And it's a little bit, it's not as defined or pointed on the end. It's a little bit smoother with that Ra when you're writing that. So you have your Ra, and it's a little bit longer also, a little bit longer, a little bit smoother on that Assyrian side. So you have your Ra in the ancient on the left, and Ra and the Assyrian on the right, and Ra is Ra'ash or head. Ra stands for Ra'ash or head. All right. We almost there. Next one up is going to be Shah. And I think I may have this one. I might need to change. I think this is Sham. I'm gonna get clarification on that. I don't know if Officer Yarash is in the room, but I want to say that that's Sham. I'm not. I think that's Sham. I don't think that's Sham. I'll know for sure next week when we get back in here. But Shah, you have your Shah on your left in the ancient, and your Shah on the right in the Assyrian, and Sham is tooth. Stands for tooth. Now I know none of y'all was celebrating Halloween last couple of days, but if you ever were back in the world and you cut out them doggone pumpkin, them jack-o'-lantern teeth, kind of look very similar to that when you turn it upside down. So that's where they get sham or tooth from. And that's gonna be Shah. This was another letter that wasn't too hard to remember. It's a little distinct from everything else. Sister Akwaf Nizam Anah says that the water survey, every class teach and interact differently. Virginia classes feel more like family. At the water to the Most High cry. 3 of my 4 kids are tuning in and visiting. Hey, damn right. We be glad to see y'all. I'm glad to see them young men up in here. I got 2 boys myself. I know Officer Mataz Akara. He got young soldiers also. And that's all praise to Barakatah Yahweh Shah to you and your family. Hey, that's what we here for. That's what we here for. So the water, Aqua, we appreciate that. We appreciate that. We definitely try to keep it tight. We try to keep it tight right here. And I know how hard it can be to get them young men to tune in. They got everything in their ear. Everybody in the world is in their ear trying to pull them away from the truth. Everybody. And it's like I'm a little bit older, so I can relate. I remember, you know what I mean, my mother, grandmother, them saying them kids is crazy talking about us, and we wondering what was wrong with them. And it's okay. Officer Mataz Akara said it is shine, so let me change that. But I remember how difficult it was for us to relate to them. And now when I think about mine now, they got so many different outside influences. It's amazing to have them young men up in here even trying to learn the truth, you know. So again, Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shah Form, and y'all keep on tuning in. And hey, damn right. And the water, Officer Mataz Akara, the water. Yeah, it was a one arm I had to change a little earlier, you know, because again, we learning, and as we learn and research more and more, you might see a little bit change here, but not too much. For the most part, we're gonna be consistent. And we all teach the same thing. And that's what I love about the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We all teach the same because we one big family. We try to keep it that way. All right, we got one more left. All right, so Sean is tooth. You got that on your left for the ancient, and you got it on your right for your Assyrian. Last one up. No doubt, young man. No doubt. No, hey, we glad to have you in here, man. Y'all, hey, I understand. I couldn't even imagine being in y'all shoes now, how difficult, how hard it is. You can be the worst of the worst of the worst, and the world is going to reward you for being the worst. That's the crazy part about it. The world is going to reward you for being the worst. They'll even pay you for being the worst of the worst. They will pay you nowadays. And so it's so difficult for our young brothers and sisters to come into this truth. If we got so many things trying to pull them away. Weed is legal. You feel me? When we was coming up, at the very least, it was still illegal. Weed is legal now. I can't go outside. I can't go outside and step outside these doors without me smelling, without somebody is burning some green somewhere. And it's everywhere you go. When you research and you study, and you study the drug, the war on drugs, you study the heroin, the cocaine, the sherm, the PCP from back in the day, it wasn't nothing uncommon for our folks to be strung out then. And it's the same thing now. It's just a different drug now. So that's difficult. That's very difficult for our young men to, you know what I'm saying, really be wanting to know what's going on with the Lord. So that's the Most High. So damn right. Officer Mataz Akara said that's Tawab, Sister Nizam. We welcome the whole family. Damn right, because we are family. And once we get back to that, once we really get back to the fact that we're not strangers, we are family. That's one thing I love about the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. It's one of the first things that you learn. That sister out there, that's your sister. That brother out there, that's your brother. When Christ was getting ready to be crucified, and it was like your mother, your sister, them out there. He was like, "That's my mother," talking to about the disciples. That's my brother, talking about the disciples. You know what I mean? Once we labor amongst each other, and we building this nation up. Y'all my brothers and my sisters. You know, so they y'all are in our care. Y'all in these classes. You amongst family, and you and I can. That's how we're gonna carry. And that's how all the classes carry. That's how all the officers carry. We learn from men above us, and we just try to keep the tradition going on. And that's the beautiful, beautiful thing about building a nation. When you build a nation, well, you build a nation. Can't nobody break that. You can't break no nation with propaganda. You can't break no nation with no the new dance craze. You know what I'm saying? You can't break no nation with the new drug that's out. It don't work like that because we're too strong for that. Sister Nizam and I said the water. Officer Mataz out. Damn right. All right. So our last one is Tha. Now Tha, another one of those ones, and that Assyrian. You see it on the right hand side. It can look just like Ka. It can also look just like Ha. Now, like I was saying with the Ha, it doesn't have the separation of the break right there as far as the Ha. And this is going to be a little bit curved, and you don't see anything on the backside of it as far as that Ka. So those are the ones, again, you got to try to look at because they will throw you off if you're not paying attention to it. So you got Tha, your ancient on your left, Tha, your Assyrian on the right. Tha stands for Thaw or mark. This is another one. We was talking about, the things that we kind of do or we grew up with, not realizing just how biblical they are. You know them if you got any old folks in your family. They may not have been the best at their grammar or their arithmetic, how they called it. And a lot of you look at a lot of those old documents or whatever. When the slaves signed stuff, they signed it in a X. That was their mark. That was their thought. Look very, very similar. There you go. Sister Coco said, she said X marks the spot. If you look at a lot of them older shows or a lot of them older people, when they were signing stuff, they signed it in that X, which was their mark, which is Tha, which is mark, which is directly right out the doggone Bible. It's right out the Bible. And again, it just kind of show you how we are them people, even if we didn't realize or remember that we were them people. All right, so that's Tha. That's your alphabet. That's gonna be your I to your Tha. That's gonna be your alphabet. All right. Damn right, Aqua. Damn right. X marks the spot. All right, so we're gonna stop this one. All right, so next up, we got through our alphabet. We also learned a little bit more on the alphabet. We actually learned what those characters meant tonight. And I know, again, for me, that helped me to remember them a little bit more, learning it that way. Next, we're going to do, well, first off, I want to go over just real quick before we get to the conjugation. Let's go over of the subject pronouns. Your subject pronouns, which is how you're going to conjugate and so forth. That's how in order for you to conjugate your verbs, you got to know what your subject pronoun is, because that's how your conjugation is, what it's going to be based off of. I actually plan on going over our possessive pronouns and our subject pronouns. Let's see what I got queued up real quick. Let's see what we got up first. We're going to do that, then we'll pick a verb and we'll go ahead and conjugate that verb in a present, past, or future tense, and we will go from there. Let's queue up. Let's go to, hold on real quick. All right, let's go to this one. Here we go. All right, hopefully you should be able to see that real quick. Now we're going to go through this one a little bit faster than we did the last one. These are your subject pronouns. And again, you want to make sure you're taking notes. And this is how you eventually be able to kind of form and put together sentences and so forth. One of our generals is named Anya Shawamar. Anya Shawamar means I am. You get to Shamar, which is watching. I am watching. So this is again how you put those words and stuff together for your sentences. When we say the blessings, or when we say the greetings, we say Shalom, Yahaba Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Barak Atah. That's saying Shalom, peace. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh, most high power. By Hashem, by in the name of the Most High. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Christ, in His name. Barak Atah, bless. Then Atah, meaning you. So this is where we get that you from. When it's a Tha, it's just going to be that you, just you, singular, person or whatever. If it's for the woman, when we say Shema, Alathan, that N indicates is woman or plural woman and so forth. So this is where we get those words from and how we kind of break that down. But these are going to be your different subject pronouns that you need when you're making sentences. So Anya is going to be I or I am. Officer Tazakara said Ayanaba. Ayanaba is you're welcome. Another one of the words that I learned that you're going to see quite often. You'll see quite often in here. You'll see Thawada meaning thank you. You'll see Ayanaba meaning welcome. You'll see Salakia. I think Officer Tazakara went over that last week. Salakia meaning excuse me. With that ya at the end, you're saying me. So again, our words have meaning, and you will hear certain ones over and over again, and eventually it'll become second nature to us, and we're gonna all be just like Officer Uriah Shema. At some point in time, we're gonna be all just like Officer Uriah Shema. All right. So the next set we got, you got she. She is gonna be Haya. Haya is gonna be she. You also got we. Now, we is one of the ones that kind of stuck out. And I remember this because it's so different from some of the other ones. We is Anaknawa. Gonna be pronounced Anaknawa. Aknawa, I'm sorry. Aknawa, which is gonna be we. Then you also have you or y'all in the plural in the male tense. So if it's a group of males, if I'm saying I'm trying to greet a bunch of brothers, I would say Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barak Atham to the brothers. And you will hear us sometime when we're in class and we'll say that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barak Atham to the brothers. We'll say if it's feminine for the sisters, we'll say Yahweh Shema Alathan Yahweh Barak to the sisters. So a thumb is y'all in the plural for the brothers. A thun is plural for the sisters. Last two is going to be they. You got they in the they, which is a plural word for the brothers. It would be hum. And then you got they for your sisters, which would be hun. Very similar to that a thumb and that a thumb. The only thing different is that M and that N at the end of them. And hopefully I was slow enough so everybody can get screenshots and get notes on those. Because if so, we're gonna move on to now. All of these will go in the beginning. These will go in the beginning of the word. We're gonna go to the prepositions or the prefixes, which would go at the end of a word. We're going to do that next. All right. So I don't see nobody chiming in, so I think we're good on this page. Let's go to our next one. Yeah, that's it right here. Okay. All right, so our next one is going to be our prepositions or our possessive pronouns. And these will be added to the end of a word. So, for example, what's a word that we all know that we've talked about? I think last week, what did Officer Matazza? I think he used grapes last week for one of them. There's a couple of words that he used, but I'm pretty sure grape was one of them. And that word for grape, who remembers what the word for grape was? See who was paying attention last week. Who remember what the word for grape was last week? Grape. If you remember what it was, just type it in the chat if you remember what the word for grape was last week. I might just give it to you because we're a little low on time. But the word for grape is going to be a knob. So if I was going to say my grapes, I will put this. I will put this at the end of it. If I was going to say my grapes, I will put ya at the end of it. So it would be Ainab ya. And matter of fact, let me show you what that would look like real quick. I like all my boys to be black. I don't like no white boys. No Esau boards. Where you at? Hold on. There we go. Where is it at? Let me change it now. Just change it like 15 times before. Okay, I know what it is. Salakia. All right, so it's being brand new on me, so I'm not gonna worry about it. We'll do it on this board. All right, so what the word we were was a knob, right? So if I go here and I do that would be great. Now, if I wanted to make it my grapes, all I would do is add that to it. And I should start way over here. So we would just add the Yah to the end of that. And I promise you, we're going to fine tune this. It'll be a lot better next time we get back in here. But let's go back to what we were before. And it'll be that same concept with all of our different words. So if I was saying your grapes, I would add ka at the end of it. So it would be Anab ka. All right. So all of your possessive pronouns will go to the end of the word. If I was saying his grapes, they would be Anab wa. All right. Then you also have her, which is ha. So if I wanted to say her grapes, I would add ha at the end of it. And then, like I said, one of the ones that kind of stuck out and that was a little bit easier to remember was Nawa, because it's different from the rest of them. But Nawa is our. And you probably have heard this one before. Who can tell me where you've heard this before? Everybody should know this because we say this all the time. I give you a clue. It's in the prayers. In the prayers, we say this all the time. Who knows if we've seen this Nawa before it? Or Nawa? Who knows if we've seen Nawa before it? And for time's sake, I'm going to go ahead and throw it up in there so you'll see it. And you should see that in the chat. That's another one that, again, we say quite often, Abanawa, when we're saying in prayers and we're saying our Father. Abba is Father. Nawa is our Father. So again, with the possessive pronouns, you want to put those at the beginning of the word. Now, if I was saying their as a group of males, I was going to say their grapes. I would say ma. So anab ma, which means their grapes. Now, the key thing that I didn't say, the Hebrew in English, we learn everything from left to right. We learn everything backwards in English. And the Hebrew is actually from the right to the left. So Abanawa will be father. Their father would be Abama in the male sense. And the feminine sense or feminist tense, it would be na. You would add na at the end of it. And then the last two is going to be your in the male plural and your in the feminine plural. And you're gonna get those by for the male plural your. If it's your grapes, it would be come. So it'd be a knob come, a knob come. And if it was your in the feminine sense, if I'm talking to the sisters in the class, it would be a knob kun. All right. All right, so I'm gonna stop that. All right, so we may not do too much conjugation. So the last thing I want to do before we hold on, what we got here? Some Tazak says, so Nawah, written in the Hebrew, the Na will come first on the right and the Wa on the left, correct? That's correct. Yep, that's correct. Yep, you are absolutely correct. That's the way I had it, right? Make sure it's the way I don't have it. Correct. Yep. Not why you got it right. Sometimes correct. All right. All right. So we covered a lot of the basics tonight. So since we covered the basics, we're gonna end out on the basics as well. Last thing we're gonna end out on. Let's go over. Did I do those? Yeah. All right. Last thing we're gonna go over is gonna be the numbers. All right, so like those same bar that we saw, you have numbers as well. So your number for number one is going to be a cod. And I'm just going to bring these up just so you can kind of get these down in your notes, and when we come back, we'll expound on them a little bit more. And next week we'll make sure we do a little bit more with the conjugation as well. But I think we got a good. I think we got a good start. Good start. So one is going to be a cod. If y'all listen to any Israelite School of the Universe of Practical Knowledge music, one of my favorite artists is going to be Captain Akkad. All right. You also have number two, which is Shanya. Shanya is number two. You also have number three. Number three is Shalash. Shalash is number three. All right. Your number four is going to be Arabai. Arabai is number four. Then you have the number five. Number five meaning the way you pronounce number five is Kamasha. And again, when you see that ka, it's kind of like you're scratching the back of your throat when you say it. Kamasha. And then you got six. Six is Shasha. Six is Shasha. I always know when General Q is in the chat, because you'll see that Alawap meaning general, Alawap Shasha Magan. I see that six shield, and I know that's General Q that's in the chat right there. So Shasha 6. 7 is Shabai. Shabai is 7. Number 8 is Shamana. 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 Now, if we were writing this out, when we get back to, we'll write it out. If we were writing this out in the Hebrew, you would see a Shah, you would see the Ma, you would see the Wa, then you would see the Na. But if you notice that A is dropped off right here. Again, we abbreviate, we hyphenate. That's kind of how we talk, and that's how the Bible is written as well. If you've ever heard any of those fake Israelite groups to say shalom or whatever that mess they be saying that don't make no doggone sense, this is why they got them extra letters in there, because again, they're not pronouncing it the correct way. It's certain times where your A's and your H's and so forth are going to drop off. So A is pronounced shamana. Shamana. Then you have your number 9. Number 9 is the shy. The shy. The shy. Now, number 10, you probably hear every time you're in class, you hear that number 10. You've heard that a lot of different times because we say it quite often when we're talking about Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi, and we're talking about the tithes, because tithes is 10th. It's 10th of 10, and that's going to be from Ishurah. Ma meaning from, all right? Ma meaning from, and Ishurah meaning 10. So from 10 of 10 is going to be my Ishurah for your tithes. So Ishurah is 10. You actually have, I didn't even realize I wrote that down, but you actually have that right here. Because my and my eye is different. My eye is what? My eye is 100. So when you're saying that the 10th in the Hebrew is Ma'ishara, Ma'ishara. And that's where you get that from. All right. Now we're going to the other ones later. Actually, I go through them pretty fast on this one. So your 20 is going to be Asharayam. Asharayam. Ashara, the 10th, Yam, meaning from, of. So that's where you get Asharayam from. 30 is Shalasham. 40, Arabayam. 50, Kamashayam. 60, Shashayam. 70, Shabayam. And 80, Shamawat, Shamat, we're going to get it. Shamanayam. 90, Vashayam. And then when you get to 100, it switches up on you. There's going to be Ma'ah. Ma'ah is going to be 100. And again, we will revisit and go back through all of these. I just wanted to make sure tonight you were able to get good copies of everything that we brought out. Do we have any questions on anything? Any questions on anything specific y'all wanted to talk about or go over before we get out of here? It's been a good class. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, this Hebrew class is very important. When you go over the scripture, you talk about Nehemiah, you go talk about Solomon and so forth. Slowly but surely, and over time, we lost our language, we lost our customs, we lost who we were as a people. And one of the first things we lost was this language. So the more and more we go over this language, the more and more we get back to it, the stronger we are as a people, the closer we get back to being who the Most High wants us to be, and who we gonna be. A Yandaba Akwa for Yandaba Tawada for everybody tuning in. And if that concludes it, if we don't have any questions or anything, I'm gonna go ahead and read these security announcements, and we're gonna get ready to get on up out of here then. So let me go ahead and find those real quick. I had about 50 screens open. None of them on the security announcements. The water to Lamaya. Did my crown. Got me feeling brand new in here with my crown on. The water. We have the Passover coming up in Durham. We got the Passover coming up in Durham this year. It was in Raleigh last year. Durham is a throne's throw away, how they say down south. It ain't that far from Raleigh. So we're going to be back down there again. You can go ahead and make sure you get in, reserve your room, all that good old stuff now. Time is filling up, and you want to make sure you get up in there. We're going to have the whole hotel to ourselves, meaning when you come downstairs, you ain't got to worry about no pork being on the breakfast menu. Ain't nobody up in there to eat it but us. So, again, that should be a lovely, lovely thing for us to all be together, like the Most High want us to be. So, again, make sure you go ahead and reserve your room, get everything locked in. You got plenty of time. It won't be until April 17th. April 17th, everyone says when the festivities start. You're going to be there pretty much all week. I definitely will be there, Lord willing. Lord willing, I will be there. And I look forward to seeing everybody. All right. So now we're going to get to our security announcements if we don't have any other questions or anything. Again, the water for everybody for attending, for joining tonight. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for a new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandments, found in Numbers 18, chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. And we were just talking about this. That means 10th in the Hebrew, ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury fund or the teacher. We also have a priest fund. That's a free will offering for the priest. It's not mandatory. It's going to be in whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. I think our very next one, while I'm pulling it up, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Hanukkah, December 7th. Yep, December 7th. That's going to be the 25th day of the 9th month. It's going to be for 8 days. And you can find that in Maccabees, chapter 4. Hold on. Chapter 4, verses 52 through 61. Next high holy day after that won't be until February, and that's going to be the Feast of Purim. And then after that, again, like I said, that by then it's going to be Passover time then, baby. If any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you want to make sure that you're wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. And you come in ready to roll. If any sisters that's in the school, you want to make sure that your head is covered when the scriptures and the word is coming out. And with that, I want to give one courtesy salute to the brothers. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbarakatam. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbarakatam to the brothers. And I give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Yahweh Shema Alatan Ba Shem Yahweh Shai. The water. For everybody that was in class, make sure y'all tune in tomorrow. We should have General Muhammad's breakdown, scripture breakdown class. It's like none other. He is a surgeon when it comes to those scriptures. Hold on. No, it's Friday. I'm Salaki. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking that it's Wednesday. It's Friday. So tomorrow we're gonna probably be out in the streets one tomorrow. But make sure y'all stay tuned to the page. We got videos coming out all for the rest of the week. Stay tuned, drop those comments, like, share, subscribe. Everybody is real quick to, I'm pretty sure y'all got Halloween notices and little skeletons and pumpkins you saw everywhere you went. So you make sure you hit them with that word, hit them with that truth. Same way they was hitting you with that garbage this week. The water for everybody being in here. I will see y'all again next week. If y'all have any questions, any concern, y'all make sure y'all reach out to the school. And again, shalom, Israel. The water to everybody, the water, sister. I'm Aqua Nazama Na. At the water, Officer Mataz Akara. You know, you held it down last week. I'm just trying to fill in the shoes, man. Trying to make sure we consistent, baby. That's all. So the water to everybody. Y'all have a good night. Lord willing, we'll see y'all soon.